The text hit my phone like a slap I'd been half expecting but still wasn't ready for. I was sitting in my favorite Chicago coffee shop, the one with the big windows overlooking the rainy Michigan Avenue traffic, nursing a plain black drip because even that felt like a splurge after what I'd just done.
Ava.
I saw you picked the flatware set. While Ethan and I are grateful for anything, I'm honestly disappointed. The other items were chosen as real investments in our future. The flatware was only there for distant relatives or plus ones who don't know us. I expected my own sister to contribute something meaningful. My fingers froze on the screen. Sophia's words kept scrolling, 3 long paragraphs of passive aggression that twisted the knife deeper with every line. She mentioned how Ethan's family had already gifted them a down payment on their new Hamptons house, how her old roommate bought the massage chair, how her parents scraped together 10 grand despite retirement. Then the kicker, if money's tight, and I get it, with your situation, we'd accept something smaller and personal. Maybe design a piece for our place? Just return the flatware. Let me know by tomorrow.
Love.
Sophia.
Love.
She signed it with love. I set the phone face down on the scarred wooden table and stared out at the gray drizzle streaking the glass. The woman next to me was laughing with her friend about weekend plans. Normal life. Not this. Not my older sister weaponizing her second wedding registry against me. My name is Ava Bennett, 33 years old. I've carved out a real, if modest, life as a freelance interior designer here in Chicago's Logan Square neighborhood. It's not the high-rise penthouse life Sophia built in Manhattan after her Stanford MBA and marketing career. But it's mine. I love the challenge of turning forgotten lofts into warm, functional spaces, the quiet satisfaction of a client finally seeing their home breathe, and the freedom of answering only to myself and my rescue dog, Milo. Most weeks I'm content, until family events remind me exactly where I stand. The invitation had arrived 2 weeks earlier in an envelope so thick it felt like a hardcover book. Sophia was marrying Ethan Caldwell, a venture capitalist whose portfolio included half the fintech startups lighting up New York. This was her second marriage. The first had lasted barely 2 years, a subject we all politely avoided. The cream cardstock with gold foil announced a June ceremony at a private vineyard estate in the Hudson Valley. Inside, a smaller card pointed to an online registry with exactly 5 items. A high-end Italian espresso machine, $4,200. Designer luggage set, $7,500. Full-body massage chair, $5,500. Swiss luxury watch, $25,000. And the budget option, sterling silver flatware service for $1,250. I'd stared at that screen for a long time, laptop balanced on my knees in my second-hand apartment. $1,250 was more than my monthly grocery budget. My biggest commercial project had fallen through when the client pivoted at the last minute, leaving me scrambling. Sophia knew that. Information traveled through our parents like a toxic hotline. Sophia just closed on a second home in the Berkshires, Mom would say on her calls. Ava finished that loft renovation in Wicker Park, though she's still figuring out the business side. Our rivalry went back decades. Sophia was the golden child, straight A's, elite internships, 6 figures by 27. I was the creative one, which in our family meant unreliable dreamer. Every holiday became a silent contest. Sophia arrived in her luxury SUV with designer gifts. I brought handmade candles and a portfolio no one opened. But the registry felt personal, deliberately cruel. She knew our friends were struggling post-pandemic. She knew our cousin had been laid off. Yet these 5 items screamed, play in my league or stay home. I could have skipped the wedding, claimed a deadline or illness. But absence would let Sophia paint me as jealous and bitter. So I did the only thing that felt like preserving dignity. I maxed out my credit card and ordered the flatware. Buyer's remorse hit the next morning. $1,250 rent for my one-bedroom. Groceries for half a year. The new laptop my design software desperately needed. But it was done. I could face the wedding without being the family cheapskate. 3 hours later, Sophia's text arrived. I didn't reply immediately. Instead, I called my best friend, Lena, who listened without interrupting, then said the thing that crystallized it. This isn't about forks.
Ava.
It's about power. She's reminding you of your place before you even arrive. She was right. This had never been about money alone. It was Sophia ensuring I showed up defeated. The following weeks dragged with familiar family tension. Mom called just to chat, but always circled back to Sophia's stress planning a six-figure wedding. Memories surfaced on sleepless nights, the childhood parties for Sophia's Stanford acceptance versus my design program graduation at a chain restaurant. It's not the same, Dad had said. Her degree opens doors. 3 years earlier, the wound that never healed. I'd landed my biggest project, a boutique hotel lobby redesign in Chicago's Gold Coast. Sophia visited after her divorce, claiming she wanted to reconnect. I'd proudly spread my sketches across the table. She asked thoughtful questions, took photos for inspiration. 2 months later, a glossy magazine featured an almost identical office space in Manhattan, credited to Sophia's innovative vision with a $50,000 consulting fee paid to her. When I confronted her, she acted shocked. Completely different trends. You don't own minimalism. But the custom sage green paint mix, the exact floating shelf measurements, the repurposed cabinet planters, they were mine. Mom begged me not to go public. Sarah's starting over. Be happy for her.
I swallowed it then.
But not now. The sabotage became clear through LinkedIn. 3 clients I'd been courting for months suddenly connected with Sophia. Then a message from Marcus Hale, owner of a hotel chain I'd pitched relentlessly. Looking forward to your sister's wedding. Ethan says it'll be the event of the season. Sophia had no hospitality background. Yet she'd invited him. And I discovered through careful checking at least 7 other key players in Midwest design and hospitality. All people whose names I'd casually mentioned to Mom, who passed them straight to Sophia. She'd turned her wedding into an ambush. The venue was the same Hudson Valley estate where I'd pitched a redesign concept months earlier that got rejected. Her planner, florist, caterer, all industry contacts who knew my work. She was assembling an audience for my humiliation. Worse, through a mutual contact, I learned Sophia had been telling people I was struggling, that I'd asked her for loans, that my business was failing, and she'd offered me charity work designing for the wedding. But I was too proud. Marcus had called it complicated family business. I dug deeper into her social media history. Subtle posts about supporting family through tough times, timed to my lost pitches. Photos from her visit 3 years ago staged to look like she was mentoring me. Comments downplaying my commercial projects as small residential work, while I'd done 3 hotels, a flagship restaurant, and a major co-working space. The final straw, a Pinterest board titled Wedding Design Inspiration, mixing poorly photographed versions of my stolen designs with amateur work. Captioned some ideas from various sources, including my sister's attempts at boutique design. So cute watching her try new things. Attempts.
Cute. Trying.
The registry suddenly made sense. Showing up with the cheapest gift would confirm her narrative. Poor Ava. Too proud to accept help. Scraping by to save face. I pulled out every email, sketch, and timestamp from 3 years ago. The inspiration request. Her promise not to use them commercially. The magazine spread. Custom paint receipt. I created a folder labeled Wedding Gift. This wedding wasn't just a celebration. It was her stage to bury me professionally. But gathering my industry contacts in one place gave me an opportunity. I would serve the truth, on the silver platter she couldn't return. I started small. Contacted Tom Rivera, the photographer from the magazine shoot. Over coffee in his studio, I showed original sketches dated months before Sophia's project. He recognized the theft immediately. She had cue cards at the shoot. Real designers don't need cue cards. He shared raw files and behind-the-scenes shots. His assistant Kelly owed him a favor and would attend as Ethan's company photographer. Through another designer friend, I connected with 3 others invited to the wedding who'd heard Sophia's lies. Their outrage was immediate. "She's using our industry as props in family drama," one said. They agreed to help if needed. The masterstroke involved Ethan's business partner, Victor Lang, famous for suing over intellectual property theft in his own past. I prepared a bound portfolio, tracing Sophia's evolution, early work alongside my stolen designs with dates and documentation, and arranged for it to be placed among the gifts. For the reception slideshow, Sophia requested guest photos. I submitted innocent family images, but each file contained embedded metadata with a full evidence trail, sketches, emails, timestamps, paint receipt. Anyone downloading from the wedding site would uncover it. I reached out to the DJ, a Chicago contact I'd worked with before. When I explained, he shook his head. Cold. Even for a bridezilla. "I'll create a technical window when you signal, 3 minutes max. My outfit, an elegant dress in the exact stolen sage green shade. Professional. Recognizable to anyone who'd seen the magazine spread." 3 days before the wedding, I rushed the engraved flatware. Each piece carried a different quote in elegant script. "Originality is the art of concealing your source. Imitation is the sincerest form of theft. Credit where credit is due." The night before driving to the Hudson Valley, Lena helped me pack. "You're really doing this at her wedding?" I thought about it. I'm not destroying her. I'm telling the truth. If that destroys the lie she built, that's on her. The vineyard estate perched on a Hudson Valley hillside whispered old money, stone buildings, rolling vineyards, sunset views that cost a fortune to rent. I arrived precisely on time. Sage green dress sharp. Flatware gift wrapped in tissue with explanation cards tucked inside. Checking in. Sophia's college roommate air-kissed me. "Sophia said you might not make it. Something about work troubles?" I smiled smoothly. "Business is actually booming. Just closed a major hotel project in Chicago. You know how success keeps you busy." I worked the cocktail hour like a professional. Approached Marcus Hale confidently. "Marcus, great to see you. Heard about your new Finger Lakes property, contemporary farmhouse style? I've been exploring similar concepts." He looked surprised but engaged. I showed professionally shot portfolio images prepared with Kelly's help. This was the Gold Coast Hotel lobby. You might recognize the aesthetic. His eyes widened. "This is yours?" But Sophia mentioned. I let the implication hang gently. Older sister protectiveness. I guess. Across the terrace, Sophia watched from her pre-ceremony robe, surrounded by bridesmaids. Our eyes met. I raised my glass. She didn't reciprocate. The ceremony was picture-perfect. Sophia in an extravagant gown. Ethan looking smitten. Guests dabbing tears on cue. I sat second row with our parents, who shot me anxious glances. Mom whispered, "She looks so happy." I agreed. And she did because she thought she'd won. Reception transformed the ballroom into crystal chandelier elegance. The slideshow looped during cocktails, travel photos, kisses. Then family shots I'd submitted, including several from 3 years ago showing Sophia in my apartment surrounded by my original sketches. Taking inspiration photos. Industry guests noticed. I watched one lean over, pointing at the screen. Dinner was served foamy. Artistic plates that tasted underwhelming. Speeches followed. Best man's bachelor stories. Maid of honor's tearful friendship tribute. Then Victor Lang stood. Before my toast, I want to thank everyone for the thoughtful gifts. This portfolio of Sophia's design evolution caught my eye. He held up my bound book. Fascinating progression. Sophia, I didn't realize you were designing as far back as 2021. These sketches are dated early. Sophia's face drained of color. Those are just inspiration pieces. Victor flipped pages. They matched the published office design exactly, down to margin notes. The room quieted. Someone from another table called out curiously about design evolution. Kelly stood with her camera. I have behind-the-scenes shots from that shoot if anyone's interested. Sophia's gaze locked on mine. I sat calmly in my sage-green dress, cutting my chicken with an engraved knife that read, "Imitation is the sincerest form of theft." I stood. It is your wedding, Sophia, and I wanted to give you something meaningful, something that truly reflects our relationship. I nodded to the DJ. Music faded. Screens went dark. Then lit with my side-by-side presentation, my original dated sketches versus Sophia's published work. Emails promising not to use them. The magazine spread crediting her. Her Pinterest board calling my designs attempts, and the custom paint receipt. The room didn't erupt in gasps, but in the worse, urgent, hushed conversations. Phones came out. Ethan's family looked embarrassed. Our parents froze. Sophia shrieked.
Ava.
How could you? I replied simply, the same way you could, with planning and no regard for family. The 3-minute presentation methodically dismantled her narrative. Final slide, my business card with original designs by Ava Bennett. Accept no imitations. Sophia stood trembling. Ethan stepped back slightly. Victor looked grim. This is serious. You could face legal consequences. The word prosecuted rippled through guests. Ethan's mother walked out abruptly. Ethan pulled Sophia aside. Mike's still live. We need to talk.
Now.
Privately. She yanked away. This is Ava's fault. She's always jealous. I laughed genuinely. The only thing you've created is fiction. Stories about my failures build on my work. Kelly addressed the room. I was at that shoot. Sophia used cue cards. Real designers don't need cue cards for their own work. Chaos followed. The coordinator tried cake cutting, but guests were leaving or clustering on phones. Industry contacts surrounded me apologizing, exchanging cards. Marcus handed me his. Monday. My office. We're redesigning the Finger Lakes property with the real designer. 3 more offers in 10 minutes. At my sister's ruined wedding, I booked more work than the past 6 months combined. Sophia fled to the bridal suite. Ethan stayed 20 minutes to apologize to family and instruct the planner to continue without them. Last seen in the parking lot on phones with lawyers. The gossip exploded overnight. Kelly's video hit social media with hashtags about the wedding thief. Interior design outlets wanted interviews. My inbox filled with support and project inquiries. Sophia texted once, I hope you're happy. You've ruined my life. I replied, I returned your wedding gift. You're welcome.
She blocked me.
Ethan's ironclad prenup and zero tolerance for fraud meant divorce proceedings started within a week. Sophia tried spinning it as a misunderstanding or shared ideas, but evidence overwhelmed. The magazine issued a retraction crediting me and returned her fee, with interest via Ethan's lawyers. 3 months later, my Finger Lakes hotel opened to acclaim. Ava Bennett's authentic vision redefines regional hospitality. Sophia moved back to a smaller role selling real estate, other people's properties. My parents and I rebuilt slowly. They visited my Chicago studio for my 34th birthday, genuinely admiring my work. It's so you, Mom said, touching a custom desk. I kept the engraved flatware in a studio display case, each piece a reminder that truth arrives when least expected, often dressed for celebration. The industry still whispers about the Bennett wedding as cautionary tale. You can't build on stolen foundations. Lies expire.
Truth.
Served on silver. Indoors. Ethan remarried a year later to a doctor untouched by scandal. I sent a single engraved spoon. New beginnings. Sophia remains single. Exposure at her own reception complicates dating. I'm booked solid through next year. Authentic projects from Chicago to New York. Every client knows they're getting original work by Ava Bennett. No imitations accepted. The truth does set you free. Sometimes it just takes a wedding, stolen designs, and expensive silverware to reveal it. What lingers is the question: how many family successes are built on hidden thefts we never expose? And what happens when the silver finally shows its true engraving?